What's happening? Hello and welcome to another video. In this video we are going to be talking about Death Note. Death Note started off as a manga and then turned into an anime, which was slightly different to the manga, but then Netflix decided to make a live action movie of the series. The problem is with making live actions of animated films, they tend to flop. There's never really been a good one. So yeah, so they've all tended to flop a little bit, which is kind of depressing. I know the Ghost in Shell was hyped up a lot, and then that sadly did flop, and yeah, you don't really hear much about that anymore. I watched a few little bits. I haven't watched the full thing, but you know, that didn't turn out well. The Last Airbender didn't turn out well. The very first live action of Death Note, the Japanese Death Note, just flopped as well. It was all just really far-fetched or bad CG or something like that, you know, so it's hard to kind of pull off, but I'm gonna give credit. If you treat it as a standalone movie, this Death Note was pretty good. Okay, so it was very Americanized, I'm gonna be honest with that, but what do you expect? It's Netflix, and I'm gonna let that slide a little bit because they kind of had to make it a bit more Americanized, because it was, in a way, it had to appeal to more people than just anime lovers, so of course they would have to alter it a little bit. You know, they tried to cram about 52 episodes from the series and about 6 to 12 books into one movie, which was 1 hour and 40 minutes long. It's just a bit, you know, you kind of got to go with it. So of course they had to make changes to obviously make it a bit more quickly to follow, and they wanted to make you feel like you didn't have to read the manga or watch the anime to actually know what's going on. Some subtle differences from the anime and the movie is just, for example, Light Yagami, one of the main characters, the actual Kira. If you don't know who Kira is, it means killer in Japanese, or something like that, along those lines. Like, he's looked up to as a god and stuff by people under this name Kira, and his name's Light Yagami. But in the live action movie, they changed his name to Light Turner. At first that really annoyed me. I've watched the movie about 3 times to kind of get a full grasp of it all. The first time I was watching it from a fan, the second and third time I was watching it just to kind of look at it as its own thing, and it is really good as its own thing. So another thing that did annoy me at first, but I later on accepted, was the fact that it was based in Seattle and not Tokyo. Netflix have come out with quite a few really good boomers at the moment, you know, like the whole Marvel series and stuff like that, so I'm willing to let it slide, the fact that it has been Americanized. One thing that I was really weirded out about, I didn't really watch too many of the trailers. I watched, I think, 2 of them, and I think there was 4 overall, because they really hyped it up. Elle was black. That just, I'm not being racist, I just didn't think that that would work, because Elle was meant to be a part of like the American government secret service investigation things, but then like, in the most non-racist way, he was white. The film, instead of him coming from America, because Light was in America, he's got like this Japanese bodyguard and stuff, and he gives advice, and it just confused the hell out of me. But Elle was one of my favourite characters. He was really good, a really good portrayal of him, and it was kind of, you got a bit of a, in a non-racist way, a darker element to him, not skin tone wise or anything like that, like a proper emotional version of Elle, who had this attachment to his right hand man, Watery. When Watery eventually does get killed, Elle goes into a frenzy, and boy is it awesome. It's such an awesome scene where he just goes after Light. Yeah, he practically just goes after Light, and then that's it. Light's girlfriend in this whole thing isn't somebody who eventually finds out who he is. He goes to her and shows her something really cool, which is probably how most people would react in the real time. Like, they would need somebody else to kind of grasp this concept with them to prove that they're not going insane, and fair enough, you know, they have made it more realistic. It's not like some love-struck romance where it's an unrequited love going from one absolutely loving the other, and then the other abusing that power of love to kind of make them do what they want. Even though that was a cool little thing for the anime, in reality it's very rare that that would happen. They didn't include the Shimigami eyes, which was really sad. Oh yeah, and the Shimigami, if you don't know what they are gods of death, and they are the holder of the Death Note, and Ryuk is the main god of death in Death Note. He is the one that gives Light the book. They had names in the book as well, which was really good. I thought that was cool because it's shown previous owners and stuff, and that Ryuk was having a bit of fun with everyone on Earth. So yeah, I was really happy with that. Amazing portrayal. The character looked amazing, it looked scary. I just wish you got to see him in the light a bit more instead of being in the shadows. He was insanely good. I don't know if that was CG or if it was like a costume with a bit of CG added on, but whatever it was incredible. And I was pretty much like scared of it at first sight. I was like, whoa, that's terrifying. It is terrifying, but I was just so excited about it. Like, I saw it on the trailers, but normally obviously the trailers aren't for final thing, they're just kind of a rough sum up of what may happen. I mean, look at Spider-Man Homecoming. There's like the one iconic scene in the trailers where Spider-Man and Iron Man are flying off together, but that's not in the film, and that really irritates me. But I thought that would have been the case for this as well, so things like that made me paranoid that this wouldn't be a good movie. Ryuk and L were probably my favourite characters. Light, I was a bit iffy about, kind of just a distraught teen and stuff like that, but he probably reacted to how I would. Light was kind of running around screaming after being introduced to Ryuk, and it would have terrified me as well. He ran around screaming like a little kid, and I thought it was a bit silly, and I thought they tried to make it a bit comical, which I can understand because it was quite heavy at first. Like, he's just been given a ton of detention, you find out his mum's died and stuff. Oh, and he didn't have a sister in this, which also annoyed me. I don't think they just found somebody to cast or something like that, or they didn't have the budget, but anyway. So yeah, he was a very troubled teen, and I suppose, yeah, because it was so heavy at first, they needed to obviously kind of lighten it up a little bit, so they had this little frantic screaming thing where he was running around the place like just terrified, which, as I said, was understandable. You know, he's come face to face with the god of death, of course you're gonna freak out. Spoiler alert for one of the deaths though, when Ryuk tells him to write the name in the death note of a bully of his school, he gets decapitated. Like, Jesus Christ. I just didn't expect it. I just didn't expect decapitation. It was like a Final Destination moment, but really, really good. The deaths were amazing in it. Like, I know that sounds stupid, but the deaths were great. Thought it was a really good on-take onto it, and kind of, it shows the power of the book as well, so they've done well with that. A final thing that did annoy me overall about the Death Note movie is the fact that they didn't have one of the, what I feel is one of the key signature things to finding a bit of a clue about Light being Kira was, did you know gods of death love apples? That was one of the main things, which is why on Death Note you see an apple with a bite out of it half the time, because it's one of the key things. It just annoyed me a bit because it wasn't in the film. It made me a bit sad inside from a fan perspective, but as I said, you've got to treat it as a new thing. You can't treat it as something that's been made before. You need to just look at it from a whole new perspective, which is what I've ended up doing, and overall I give it about 4.5, maybe 4, a solid 4 for definite, but it took me a while to approve of that 4. It took me some serious grading to do that. And also the confrontation of Light and L in it was very different as well. Instead of L and Light being at a graduation ceremony where L puts Light in place by saying, "I'm L," and then Light's like, "Oh no, what do I do? Oh my god, he's right there!" And he proper craps himself. He literally does crap himself, and he's like, "I don't know what to do, I'm in this situation, I'm on the spot. If I show any interest in it, I'll look suspicious. If I ignore him, I'll look suspicious." And, you know, it was a really big tension scene, but then in the movie, he just jumps onto this table in a cafe where Light's reading up about gods of death, and then he just says, "I know you're Kira." Sorry. "I know you're Kira." So it was very different, became quite a good experience. I really liked it. Netflix have done a good job of it. I'm really proud of it. Please don't be too ashamed. If you are a fan of Death Note, it is very different, and what do you expect when it has to appeal to more people, because it's a Netflix movie, it's not made by the actual creators, so it will be different in some ways to kind of give a different perspective on it, which I thought was really good. It followed the manga more than the anime, so don't get too caught up on that. If you're a big fan of the anime, go and read the mangas and then watch the movie. I was really impressed with it after 3 times of watching it. Really do enjoy it. I would recommend it, and yeah. If you enjoyed this video, which if you did, please leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, please leave a thumbs up. It would help me a lot. I know I mentioned this in my last video, in the Liverpool video, but oh my god, my Adult Babies is way over 500 views now. I am so impressed. If everyone who watched that video subscribed and became part of the notification squad by ringing that bell, then I would be able to start maybe doing a few more bigger projects, which would be fun. I apologise that my last 2 weeks as well have been very similar videos. I've been getting into that kind of stuff recently. I've got a new tattoo as well. It's a Sword Art Online tattoo. I'll put a picture up of it here. And yeah, I'm really impressed with the tattoo. I got it done on Bank Holiday Monday, and yeah, I'm sorry that this week's been, this past 2 weeks have been a bit dry on content. It's literally because changes of plans, and I've been working my backside off in my part-time job at the moment as well. I really wanted to make this video though. I have work in literally a few hours, which is why I'm in all black. So yeah, I'm very tired, but I really wanted to get this video out there to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and the rest of your week, and I will see you next Friday.